So today let's test and explore this power factor saver, or electricity saver, or electricity saving box. I already explored a couple of these several years ago, so let's see how much they changed since then. The box seems to be still the same, and the device itself looks different. The manual is probably also the same. They didn't bother changing it. Don't be too rude, just the right amount of rude. Don't take off too often. Joyce's surge forward you at heart. Do not forget, the electricity saved box brings you happiness. Let's show the whole thing if you want to read it. It's the same one as the one a couple years ago, but the box is different. The electricity saving box, not the paper box. This is now an ellipse instead of a circle. These lines didn't used to be here. And the markings, the model number, voltage, 50 or 60 Hz frequency, 30 kilowatts, useful load, bloody hell, testing number, electricity saving spike buster. It's funny they call it electricity saving spike buster here and here, but still electricity saved box here and power factor saver here. And this plug looks European, but it's actually not the right one. The pins are shorter and not at an angle as they should be. If they actually make it to the specifications of the British shaver socket or plug, it's quite possible. Electricity saving spike buster, but here it's electricity saving box, intelligent energy saver. The result is the best. But now of course let's try to plug it in if you think it's a good idea. It's plugged in. A green light here. And nothing else probably. So let's just open it. There is one screw and that's it. Does it click together? Well, this is actually one piece. This one has to probably come out. And that's it. There's really not much of it in it, is it? It's on one screw, the other hole in the board is empty. And that's all it contains. Putting the camera on a smaller tripod to see it better, and this thing actually is a push capacitive dropper to power a tiny SMD LED here. Here you can see the dropper capacitor, the inertial limiting resistor, some metal oxide resistor for overvoltage protection probably, the bridge rectifier, the smoothing capacitor here, its discharging resistor, the discharging resistor for this capacitor I guess, and the LED here, and that's it. And some connections here, some spots which don't go anywhere in the circuit, and it looks like some wires were connected to them and they cut them or ripped them off. And this wire is almost shorting these traces here. Of course I'm going to later reverse engineer the schematic of it. And you can see these fake electricity saving boxes went through an evolution. The first ones contained a big capacitor in them, so they could at least say it saves you electricity if your household is inductive. If the total power factor of your appliances is inductive, the capacitor would compensate them, and if you paid for an inductive load, which is typically not the case for households, it would maybe save you some electricity bills, but then instead of real capacitors, they started putting fake capacitors into it. Just a plastic box full of sand or resin, or sometimes they put actually a real capacitor into it but for some reason didn't connect it, or connected it to some spots on the board which go nowhere. I guess the previous version had a capacitor connected here. This evolution stage doesn't even have any capacitor in it, any big capacitor which would compensate an inductive power factor. It just contains this tiny capacitor as a capacitive dropper for the LED. So of course, yes, this doesn't save any electricity, it actually draws some electricity. Let's plug it in once more. Of course, don't do this at home. And you can just see the LED lighting up, and that's all it does. It's a super bright, pure green LED, about 525 nanometers, guessing from the appearance of it. It has a smoothing electrolytic capacitor in it, but also a discharging resistor, quickly discharging it when I unplug it. Let's plug it into my DIY wattmeter. Let's actually use the 10 times more sensitive socket. It draws about quarter watt. This is basically just a very dim quarter watt night light. And the LED is getting about 7 milliamps. And the current drawn from a mains is 15 milliamps, which means half of the current is actually wasted in the parallel resistor here. This resistor parallel to this electrolytic capacitor, and that's also why it discharges so fast. When you disconnect it from mains, the LED goes out almost immediately. And of course, the right way of measuring an LED current isn't to bypass it with the current meter, but to insert the current meter into the circuit. And the right way is also unplugging things before you touch them. This video is turning into a list of bad examples, doesn't it? And of course the schematic of it. Here the mains comes in. The board calls it live and neutral, but the plug is not polarized. Here's a 100 ohm resistor, which might be fusible. And then a 470 volt metal oxide resistor for overvoltage protection. Here's the capacitor in the capacitive dropper, and it's discharging resistor, so you don't get a shock when you unplug it and touch the pins. Here's the bridge rectifier, the smoothing electrolytic capacitor and its discharging resistor, and the LED with its series resistor. And of course measuring the LED current by putting a current meter across the LED is the wrong way. It actually shows a different current than the actual current of the LED. The right way is to break the circuit and insert the meter here. And this technique should be fine because there is also this resistor pulling the voltage down on this capacitor. So even if I disconnect the current meter while it's plugged in, this capacitor shouldn't overcharge. If the circuit was without this resistor, and I broke the circuit here, it would basically try to charge this capacitor to the full rectified mains. The mains voltage times the square root of 2, about 325 volts. And of course this capacitor rated for just 25 volts would probably explode. But with this resistor it should be fine. And if this resistor wasn't here, connecting the meter after plugging it in would basically directly discharge this capacitor into the LED and potentially destroy it. But with this resistor in the circuit, connecting the current meter after it's plugged in should be fine because this resistor limits the current. I'm just explaining some basics of measuring currents in circuits without destroying anything. Not that I care about this rubbish, but it's a good practice in general. So let's insert the milliamp meter into the circuit here. And of course the current meter should be as low as possible resistance. Ideally short circuit, but in reality it's typically 1 ohm for milliamp meters and 0.01 ohms for a 10 amp range. Now let's plug it in and let's measure the current of the LED. The current is about 4.2 milliamps. It says 4200 microamps, which is the same thing. Reconnecting the broken circuit with a blob of solder. The voltage on the smoothing capacitor is 4.6 volts, and this is the LED voltage drop 2.68 volts. And by the way, you don't always have to break the circuit to measure the current. Sometimes you can measure the voltage drop on a resistor and calculate the current. For example, the LED resistor is dropping 2.02 volts, and then you can use Ohm's law to calculate the current, and my calculator can make it easier. This is the voltage on the resistor, this is the resistance of the resistor, and the calculated current, 4.29 milliamps, is very close to the measured one. It can also calculate the capacitive current. When you have the mains voltage, 230 volts 50 Hz on the 220 nano capacitor, and the capacitive current is about 15 milliamps, which is very close to what I've measured. And yes, most of the voltage is on the capacitor, just very little is dropped on the other components. So that's the scrappy useless power saver. I've already modified one of these into a nice orange nightlight. But this one has the better plug with the long pins. This one has the pins much shorter. And I have one extra for another video. So that's it, and if you like my videos, please consider subscribing, supporting my channel on Patreon and using the thanks button based on the value you receive from my videos. And big thanks to all of you who already support me and keep this channel running.